Hi everybody, today I'm going to be answering the question when you do not need an ETA to come into the UK. Hi, my name is Lola and if you see me for the first time, I want to say thank you for stopping by. On this channel, I make videos to educate you. Please subscribe to keep this channel running. Thank you very much. Now let's go straight into answering the question when you do not need an ETA to come into the UK. Number one thing is if you're a British citizen or you're an Irish citizen, you do not need an ETA to enter the UK. Also, if you have a visa, that means you've been granted permission to come into the UK through a visa, then you do not need an ETA to enter the UK. Also, if you have permission to live, work, or study in the UK, and that includes if you have settled or a pre-settled status or you have a right of abode, you do not need an ETA to enter the UK. Another instance that you do not need an ETA to enter the UK is if you are transiting through UK airport. And in that instance, make sure that you do not have to go through border checks. And I will rightly advise that it is good practice for you to check with your airline whether you be going through border checks. But if you're not going through border checks, then you do not need an ETA to enter the UK. Another instance that you do not need an ETA to come into the UK is if you're traveling with a British national overseas passport. If this is what you've got in your hands, then you do not need an ETA to come into the UK. There is another instance when you do not need an ETA to come into the UK is if you live in Ireland or you're traveling from Ireland or from Guernsey or from Jersey or from Isle of Man. In coming from these countries, you do not need an ETA to come into this UK. Also, if you are a child and then you've got with you a form that is called the France UK School Trip Travel Information Form, you do not need an ETA to come into the UK. As a matter of fact, if you are exempted from immigration control or you do not need to get permission to enter the UK, you do not need an ETA to come into the UK. In all of these instances that I have mentioned, you do not need permission to come into the UK. Should you want to get more insight into what ETA is about, please see my previously uploaded videos and you'll learn a lot about ETA and some new things about it. I hope you've benefited from this video and I do hope that it is of value to you. If so, please subscribe to this channel to keep this channel running. Thank you very much. Till I see you next time. Have a nice day.